Hello guys, welcome to another custom figure review. It's been a little while and obviously we've produced a few new projects since the last series of custom figure reviews. So this new series is going to feature custom figures from our new FA stories specifically. So not based on previous colour schemes or anything from expanded media. So up first is S-110 from Return to Mechanus. So this is essentially just a normal Mechonoid figure, obviously, but he's been very battle scarred. This is S-110 after returning to Mechanus, having been involved in the final battle on Skaro base. And when the Black Dalek blows the base up at the end of the story, we didn't specifically see if there were any survivors. But in Return to Mechanus, it's revealed that actually there were survivors, and S-110 limps back to Mechanus, from the place where the Mechonoid army came in part 5 to find that there are some Mechonoids left, but at a very diminished number. So he returns back to the Mechonoid control room to find that there's 3 pilot Mechonoids left behind, which are the first ones that initially prepared everything on Mechanus, and that all the other Mechonoids went to Skaro and have been destroyed. So he's been painted in a sort of mix of different types of black paint, some red paint, and he has a bit of soil on him, a bit of rubble, to show that he's been through a kind of big battle. There could be bits of like splattered Dalek mutant on him, bits of ash, bits of scorch marks, that sort of thing. And you can see that on the weathering, the bits of rubble on him, which is actually soil, you can see in the episode that it actually falls off S-110 as he moves. And then I also used a selection of different black paints. So you've got black acrylic paint in there, which is the thicker detail. And then the thinner, sort of more dripped on black paint, it's actually watercolour. I like the effect that has. And I use that a lot on the sets in Return to Mechanus as well. There's like watercolour paints that are very thinly mixed so that the paint drips. And then you can see here that actually the Mechonoid figure that I used as S-110 is actually the same one that I used as S-110 all the way back in Mechonoid Attack System Part 1. You can tell because there's if I just clean off some of the grime here, you can see there's like a little mark. Now that mark is visible whenever I use that figure in the story. But obviously 4 main Mechonoids carry the bulk of the work in this story, one of which is S-110. And then 3 of the other Mechonoids had customizations done as well, which were basically just numbers added to the front of the shells. So M1, M2, and M3 are the 3 pilot Mechonoids who stayed on Mechanus when the rest of the army went to take the fight to Skaro base in Mechonoid Attack System 5. These 3 are kind of the lead command Mechonoids, so these ones instructed all the other ones in the city. And they sort of stayed in this room, which is the reason why they're the ones that are left behind, because they didn't go to fight the war. Originally, M1 was going to have black segments, so I experimented with different arrangements of sort of black triangles on his casing. I didn't want to make it all black because I felt like that was too much of a parallel with the Black Dalek. But I couldn't find a combination of black triangles that I liked the look of, and I didn't want to create too many clear stages in the Mechonoid hierarchy. I thought it made sense that once the Menoid took control, he was very much in charge, and M1, M2, and M3 were all subordinates to him. In addition to the 6 Mechonoid 5-inch figures used in this story, for the scene at the end when the Menoid appears, this was just a normal Mechonoid figure with red lighting, and the smaller Mechonoid that appears as M1 is actually just an Eaglemoss Mechonoid. So I wanted to give the impression that when he had his upgrade to become the Menoid, the casing of S-110 was enhanced so it became a lot larger. There is, of course, one other smaller still Mechonoid in this story, which is the Mechonoid 2.0 that appears with the head of the colony. And that mini Mechonoid is a D11 Mechonoid model kit by Media Collectibles, released as part of their Doctor Who series in 2001 to 2002. It's quite scarce now, but they do appear on eBay every now and again for wildly fluctuating prices. The one that we've got, we picked up in the Who shop in Upton Park in London. And it's labelled on the packaging as large Mechonoid, so there could be a smaller version available, I'm not really sure. And that's it really, this was just supposed to be a quick little video to kind of go over the different Mechonoids seen in the story and talk about the customizations made to one of the figures for S-110. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm not going to spoil the next video, but it will be a Dalek custom for the next one. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.